Welcome back to Unlocking Inner Peace. It's great to see you all again. How are you feeling today? In the past few episodes, we've explored many important aspects on the journey to find peace and meaning in life. We've talked about the 8 golden keys, the art of living less is enough, how to dance with change, decoding the mystery of the self, and most recently, identifying the 5 invisible barriers that often hinder us. Today, I want to invite you to explore a set of rules that are incredibly simple yet possess immense power, helping us not only avoid unwholesome things and unnecessary afflictions, but also actively sow seeds of happiness, create a peaceful life for ourselves, and benefit those around us. That is the 10 wholesome paths. It might sound a bit like dry commandments or precepts, right? But actually, these 10 wholesome paths are very practical guidelines, a compass to help us adjust our behavior, speech, and even our innermost thoughts in a positive, constructive, and peace-bringing direction. They are like traffic signs on the road of life, helping us stay in the right lane, avoid potholes and dangerous curves, so our journey can be safer and smoother. These 10 wholesome paths are divided into 3 main groups, corresponding to the 3 aspects through which we express ourselves to the world and interact with daily life. Actions of the body, words spoken from the mouth, and the thoughts, the mental currents within our minds. Specifically, there will be 3 wholesome paths related to bodily actions, 4 paths related to speech, and 3 paths related to thought. So, are you ready to explore each of these wholesome paths in detail with me, and see how we can apply them to our ever-changing lives to sow good causes and reap sweet fruits? Let's begin. Part 1. 3 wholesome paths of bodily action, building a foundation from right deeds. The first group in the 10 wholesome paths that we will explore together relates directly to the specific actions we perform with our bodies. These are foundational deeds that help us create a safe, harmonious living environment for ourselves and for those around us. Wholesome path number 1. Respecting life, not intentionally harming living beings. This is the first path and also one of the most fundamental ethical principles in many cultures, avoiding the intentional killing or harming of living beings, whether human or other animal species. The foundation of this path is respect for all forms of life and nurturing love and compassion for all species. Deeper explanation, not intentionally harming living beings, is not merely about not killing people with a knife or cruelly hunting animals. It has a broader meaning. We try to minimize actions that can directly or indirectly cause unnecessary pain or death to living beings. Practical examples in daily life. Making more conscious food choices. Many people choose to be vegetarian or reduce their consumption of animal meat as a way to show respect for life. If you cannot be fully vegetarian, you can start by being vegetarian a few days a month or prioritizing products from more humane sources, though this can be difficult to verify. Not abusing or torturing animals. Whether it's a pet at home or animals you encounter on the street, treat them kindly. Do not beat, starve, or do things that cause them pain. Participating in or supporting animal protection activities, protecting their habitats, for example, donating to animal rescue shelters, participating in tree planting campaigns, or simply not littering indiscriminately, which pollutes the habitat of various creatures. Helping creatures in danger, if possible and safe when you see a young bird fallen from its nest or an injured dog or cat. If within your ability, you can try to help them or contact professionals for assistance. In human relationships, avoid violent actions, highly damaging words that can kill the spirit, deeply hurting others. Wholesome path number 2. Respecting property, not taking what is not yours. This second path emphasizes honesty, integrity, and respect for others' property rights. It means we are not greedy, do not steal, do not misappropriate what is not created by our own honest efforts, or without the permission of the owner. Deeper explanation, not taking what is not yours is not just about not stealing money or belongings. It also includes not cheating in exams, not plagiarizing, not stealing ideas, not defrauding to seize others' property, not evading taxes, not accepting bribes. Practical examples in daily life. Living honestly in all transactions, when buying, selling, or exchanging, Always maintain transparency. Do not cheat in weighing or measuring. Do not misrepresent product quality for profit. Always return what you have borrowed, whether money or objects. If you have promised to return it, keep your word. Do not be greedy for lost property. If you find a lost wallet or property, try to return it to the owner. The joy of doing a good deed will be much greater than the material value you might temporarily gain. Honesty in work and study. Do not copy others' work. Do not steal documents or ideas from colleagues. Be proud of achievements resulting from your own efforts. If you have the means, do charity, help those in difficulty. Sharing a part of what you have with those less fortunate is also a way to show non-greediness and a compassionate heart. Wholesome path number 3. Respecting family happiness and wholesomeness in romantic relationships. No wrongful sexual conduct. This third path focuses on preserving purity, wholesomeness, and responsibility in emotional relationships, especially in love and marriage. It emphasizes fidelity, respect for dignity, and morality in emotional life. Deeper explanation: no wrongful sexual conduct means we do not commit adultery, do not deceive our spouse, do not destroy others' family happiness. It also includes not engaging in sexual harassment, not forcing others into unwanted relationships, and maintaining propriety and moderation in gender-related interactions. Practical examples in daily life. Living faithfully, completely with your spouse in marriage or a committed relationship. This is the most important foundation for building a happy and stable family. Maintaining appropriate words, gestures, and actions according to moral standards in relationships with the opposite sex or same sex. Depending on cultural context and relationship, avoid inappropriate, flirtatious, or suggestive words and actions, especially with those who are married or in another serious relationship. Respecting others' freedom and dignity in romantic relationships. Do not control, not be blindly jealous, not force others to love you or stay with you when they no longer have feelings. Avoiding temptations, lust that can lead to wrongful actions, harming oneself, family, and others. These 3 wholesome paths of bodily action, respecting life, respecting property, and respecting family happiness, are the very first crucial bricks for us to build a peaceful, ethical life, trusted and cherished by those around us. Part 2. 4 wholesome paths of speech. The constructive power of communication from the heart. After discussing the 3 wholesome paths related to bodily actions, we will now explore the next 4 paths, related to a tool we use daily, hourly, and which has an immense influence on relationships and on our own and others' moods, that is speech. These are the 4 wholesome paths of speech, helping us communicate truthfully, kindly, constructively, and beneficially. Wholesome path number 4, speaking truthfully, no lying, no deceiving. This is the foundational principle of valuable speech. Always speak the truth. Do not intentionally distort, misrepresent, or fabricate information to deceive others or to cover up one's own mistakes. Deeper explanation: lying, whether harmless, white lies, or intentional falsehoods, erodes trust. A person who often lies will gradually lose the trust of those around them. Practical examples in daily life. Always speak the truth, even when it may not be entirely beneficial to you. For example, if you accidentally damage a friend's belongings, honestly admit your mistake and offer compensation, instead of trying to hide it or blame someone else. Keep promises. Do not break promises without reason. When you have promised something, try to fulfill it. If, for an unavoidable reason, you cannot, inform and apologize sincerely. Avoid boastful, exaggerated words about yourself or events to create a false impression. In business, be honest about your products and services. Do not advertise falsely to deceive customers. Wholesome path number 5, speaking words of unity. No sowing discord. No causing disharmony. No divisive speech. Words have the power to connect, but they can also be weapons that cause division, fracturing relationships. This wholesome path teaches us not to speak slanderously, not to speak ill of one person to another, or spread false information aimed at causing misunderstanding, conflict, and disharmony among people. Instead, speak words that promote reconciliation and build unity. Deeper explanation: divisive speech, literally two-tongued speech, is when you go to person A and speak ill of person B, then go to person B and speak ill of person A, with the purpose of dividing them or benefiting yourself. This is a very negative behavior. Practical examples in daily life. Avoid provocative words, inciting conflict between individuals or groups. When hearing someone talk about their conflict with another, instead of adding fuel to the fire or joining in to speak ill, try to listen objectively, and if possible, offer advice that promotes reconciliation and construction. Do not participate in spreading false rumors, unverified information that can cause division in the community or a group. Try to speak words that encourage cooperation, understanding, and the reconciliation of differences. Wholesome path number 6. Speaking politely, constructively. No embellishing, no exaggerating untruths, not speaking embellished words, meaning not adding or subtracting, distorting the nature of the matter, different from lying, which is complete fabrication. This path reminds us to be careful in our speech, avoiding unnecessary embellishment, exaggeration of events that distorts them from their actual nature, even if it's not a complete fabrication like lying. Deeper explanation. Embellished speech here can be understood as telling a story or conveying information, but adding untrue details or omitting important details, causing the listener to misunderstand the situation. This may stem from a desire to make the story more appealing, or to impress, or for some other purpose. Practical examples in daily life. When recounting an event, try to convey it truthfully, objectively, without adding or embellishing unnecessary details to make it more dramatic or favorable to yourself. Avoid spreading rumors, corridor information that has not been reliably verified. If you are unsure about the authenticity of information, it is best not to spread it. In work, when reporting a situation, present it clearly, accurately, without exaggerating achievements or concealing shortcomings. Be careful when sharing information on social media. Always verify the source and authenticity of information before spreading it, to avoid inadvertently abetting fake news or misinformation. Wholesome path number 7. Speaking kindly, lovingly, no harsh, vulgar words, no malicious speech. This path teaches us about kindness and compassion in the use of language. We should avoid using vulgar, harsh, critical, scolding, insulting words, or derogatory language that harms others' honor and spirit. Deeper explanation. Malicious words, even if blurted out in anger, can leave deep scars in the listener's heart, fracture relationships, and create a negative atmosphere. Practical examples in daily life. Even when you are very angry or dissatisfied, try to restrain yourself. Do not use abusive or insulting language towards others. Take a deep breath, calm down, and then find a peaceful way to resolve the issue. When giving feedback to someone, use gentle, constructive words, focusing on the issue rather than personal attacks. Avoid using words that mock or ridicule others' appearance, circumstances, or weaknesses. Try to speak words of encouragement, praise, sincere compliments, and show care and love for those around you. A kind word can brighten someone's entire day. These 4 wholesome paths of speech, speaking truthfully, speaking words of unity, speaking politely and constructively, and speaking kindly and lovingly, when practiced consistently, will help us build good relationships, create a positive communication environment, and bring peace and joy to ourselves and those around us. Part 3. 3 wholesome paths of thought, purifying the mind from the roots. Finally, we will explore 3 wholesome paths related to a crucial aspect, considered the root of all speech and action, that is, the thoughts, the mental currents within our minds. If the body and speech are external manifestations, then thought is the factory that produces them. Therefore, purifying and directing our thoughts towards goodness is extremely necessary. Wholesome path number 8. Non-greed, cultivating contentment and knowing enough. This path teaches us to keep our minds from being dominated by bottomless greed, not being swept away by excessive desires for material possessions or fame. Instead, cultivate contentment with what we have and practice the lifestyle of knowing enough. Deeper explanation. Greed, as we discussed in episodes 2 and 8, is one of the major hidden culprits and barriers causing much affliction. When we constantly want more, better, and never feel enough. We will always live in insecurity, comparison, and fatigue. Practical examples in daily life. Practice gratitude. Every day, take time to think about the good things you have: health, family, friends, work, a home, and feel grateful for them. This helps you recognize abundance in the present. Avoid negative self-comparison with others. Everyone has their own circumstances, their own journey. Comparison only makes you feel inadequate or envious. Focus on your own development and cherish what you have. Learn to be content with simple things. Joy doesn't necessarily come from expensive or luxurious things. Find happiness in family meals, conversations with friends, or a relaxing afternoon reading a book. If you have the means, share and help those less fortunate. Giving is also a way to reduce greed and feel that life is more meaningful. This also relates to the art of living less is enough we explored in Episode 5. Wholesome Path number 9, non-aversion, developing compassion and patience. This path teaches us to control negative emotions like anger, resentment, frustration, and instead cultivate compassion, tolerance, forgiveness, and patience. Deeper explanation: aversion, like a fire, can burn away the peace in our souls and damage relationships. Learning to transform anger is an extremely important skill. Practical examples in daily life. When feeling angry, try to recognize that emotion. Take deep breaths to calm down before reacting. Don't let anger control your words and actions. Practice forgiving others' mistakes and your own. Everyone makes mistakes. Holding on to resentment only hurts yourself. Nurture love and empathy for everyone, including those who have displeased you. Try to understand that they might act that way because of their own difficulties and suffering. Cultivate patience in all situations, especially when facing disagreeable things or difficult people. Wholesome Path number 10, non-delusion, developing wisdom and deep understanding. Avoiding deluded thoughts. Having right view. This final path teaches us to avoid deluded thoughts, false beliefs, narrow prejudices, and instead, strive to develop wisdom, right understanding, and a clear view of the nature of life and the world around us. This is very similar to Golden Key number 1, seeing things as they are, or clear insight, which we discussed thoroughly. Deeper explanation: delusion here means a lack of understanding, a distorted perception of reality, leading to wrong thoughts, decisions, and actions, causing affliction to oneself and others. It includes believing in baseless superstitions, having wrong prejudices about others, or not clearly understanding the law of cause and effect, the constant change of all things. Practical examples in daily life. Continuously learn. Cultivate knowledge from reliable sources to gain a right understanding of issues in life. Cultivate critical thinking skills. Analyze problems logically, objectively, not hastily believing unverified information, especially in today's information explosion era. Try to see things from multiple perspectives. Avoid subjective, narrow prejudices. Practice mindfulness, paying attention to what is happening inside and outside you to perceive the nature of reality more clearly, instead of living in vagueness and confusion. Clearly understand that all actions have corresponding results, and everything is always changing. Nothing lasts forever. These 3 wholesome paths of thought, non-greed, non-aversion, and non-delusion, are the foundation for us to purify our minds from the roots. When our thoughts become pure, benevolent, then our speech and actions will naturally become good, bringing peace to ourselves and benefit to everyone. Part 4. 10 Wholesome Paths, a compass for a sustainably happy life. So, we have journeyed together through the complete 10 Wholesome Paths, an invaluable compass to help us create a happier, more peaceful, and meaningful life. Allow me to summarize them once more for us to remember. 3 wholesomenesses of bodily action. Respecting life, not intentionally harming living beings. Respecting property, not taking what is not yours. Respecting family happiness, no wrongful sexual conduct. For wholesomenesses of speech. Speaking truthfully, no lying, no deceiving. Speaking words of unity, no sowing discord, no causing disharmony. Speaking politely, constructively, no embellishing, no exaggerating untruths. Speaking kindly, lovingly, no harsh, vulgar words. 3 wholesomenesses of thought. Non-greed, cultivating contentment and knowing enough. Non-aversion, developing compassion and patience. Non-delusion, developing wisdom and right understanding. You see, these 10 wholesome paths are not overly distant or difficult to practice. They are very basic, very everyday ethical principles that any of us, regardless of circumstances, can start practicing today from the smallest things. Practicing these 10 wholesome paths brings immense benefits. For ourselves, it helps us sow good causes from which we will reap wholesome fruits in the future. Our souls will become more serene, lighter, with fewer unnecessary worries and afflictions. We will feel life is more meaningful and be more trusted and cherished by those around us. For those around us and for the community, when each of us tries to live according to these wholesome paths, we will contribute to creating a more harmonious, kind, and trustworthy living environment. Society will have less injustice, conflict, and harm, and instead, more love, support, and mutual help. And further, it also contributes to protecting life and the environment on this planet. Consider these 10 wholesome paths as good seeds that you can sow every day in the garden of your life. Initially, you might encounter some difficulties. There might be times when you forget or make mistakes. That is perfectly normal. What's important is that you have awareness, determination, and persevere in your practice. Every time you choose to follow a wholesome path, whether it's just a small action, a kind word, or a positive thought, it is an important step forward on the journey of creating happiness for yourself and for the world. So, we have explored in quite detail the 10 wholesome paths, simple yet powerful principles of living for creating a peaceful and meaningful life. I truly hope that the sharings in this episode 9 will bring you new inspiration, clearer directions for you to begin or continue your journey of self-improvement every day. Remember, happiness and peace are not luxuries reserved for a fortunate few. They are the result of a process of sowing and nurturing wholesome seeds in every thought, word, and action of ours. Thank you for taking the time to listen. If you find this content valuable, please don't hesitate to like, share with your friends and family, and subscribe to the Unlocking Inner Peace channel so we can continue to journey together in future episodes, exploring more secrets to a more meaningful and peaceful life. Wishing you a new week full of joy, sowing many wholesome seeds, and always feeling peaceful and self-possessed in your soul. See you in the next podcast episodes. Goodbye.